Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today I'm going to show you my next little standing doll, and it's Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. And as you can see, she's a 2D little doll, but she has this little frill on the bottom of her skirt here, and that allows her to stand up. Oops, I'm knocking her over. You might find that they get a little bit hair heavy sometimes, so if that is the problem, you can always get like a paper clip or something like that, and you can use that to help make them stand up. And all you would do is bend your paper clip. I have a little video on how to do that for to help you make your doll stand up, and you can just thread your paper clip up the inside, making sure that you don't go through the front of the dress. And then that will help them stand up as well. But they should stand up pretty well by themselves, depending on the type of bands that you use and also how much hair they have. This one I've used a non-Rainbow Loom band as my light pink, and it does make it a little bit difficult to make her stand up. So the colours I'm using gold. Just a few little gold bands, I think about 5 or 6 for her crown. I'm using the Rainbow Loom Yellow Frost for her hair. I'm using Skin Tone. I have the Rainbow Loom Rose, and I have Rainbow Loom White. And then this is actually a DIY light pink. And I have to say I would prefer if I had the Rainbow Loom light pink from the Skin Tone packets, but I don't sort my bands, so I don't have any of those at the moment. I'm also using little pony beads for eyes. You don't need to use these, you can use bands, but if you do choose to, they're the 4mm by 7mm little pony beads. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to use a single loom. It's going to be an offset configuration. Column 1 and 3 are slightly lower than column 2. The open part of the peg is going to face towards us, and we're going to be double banding. Double banding means you take 2 bands and you place them on the loom together, and it makes a stronger, more robust little figure. I am going to use Crafty Ladybug's technique so that we have hair on the back of our little doll's head. So let's get started. 2 bands. As I said, they're the Yellow Frost. I'm going to come down 2 spots here on the left, and the same on the right. In the middle I'm going to come down 3, two from the centre to the right, 2 from the centre to the left. Now when you're doing this technique, you do need to push your bands down. It does get crowded because you have the skin tone bands to add on top of this. I'm going to put 2 from here to here. I'm going to take a single, I'm going to stretch it across the top up here. That's going to be my crossover band. Now before I do another crossover band, what I'm wanting to do is add some braids, which will then become the back of her hair like this. Okay, so I'm going to take a single band of the yellow, and I'm going to do 5 or 6 chains, all of 5 length, and they're pairs except for the first one, which is the end cap. So wrap a single band once and twice, and then we do 5 little chains, 6 little chains, sorry, 6 little chains of 5. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you have double banded that. That's our first little chain. Okay, now that, if you want to collect them all on your loom until you're ready to put them all on in one hit, that's absolutely fine, or you can just take it off your loom and hold it to one side. Let's do another one. Nice broken band there. Let's get rid of that. Once and twice. Here's our first pair. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Again, I'm going to take this off my hook, just make sure I don't pull that through. I'm just going to put it to one side until I'm ready to use it, which is not just yet. Take some more yellow bands, single, rip it once and twice. As I said, we need to do 6 of these. So 1, 2, try not to get them tangled, 3, 4, and 5. Wrap a single once and twice. One, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 2 more to do. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to put 3 on our hook. Lift up this little band, this pair of bands here, and slide those 3 on. And reclaim. Put these down here like so. Do the other 3. So we're going to put them on this pair of bands. Oops. Crash bang wallop. Turn this around, sort these braids out so that they are as flat as I can make them on my loom, like that. Alright, I'm going to take another of the yellow and place that across here, and one more yellow, and I'm going to do an end cap with this to place here. Wrap it round once and twice and pop that right there. Okay, now I'm going to dig down past that end cap that we just placed. Dig down, grab these 2 and loop up. Grab the top 2 and loop to the side. The next 2 loop to the side, loop up and loop up, and then dig down and find these and loop those up. Alright, now we're going to have a couple of bands on the side of the head here, okay, just so that it doesn't look all sort of odd. If you didn't, it just sort of looks like this, and I think that looks a little strange, whereas when you have these little bits on the side, I think it looks a little bit more, well, like hair. So 2 bands, you're going to go through the space that we have here. Alright, grab 2, pull them through and reclaim. Another 2 and slide them onto your hook like that. Okay, so you're just doing a chain off the side of the head here. You're going to grab the crossover band, the top one, and put it on your hook and then reclaim. Then take another 2 bands and slide through all 5, reclaim, and place your bands up here on the top. We'll do that this side as well. So here's our space. You put your hook through here, that's the peg, but there's a space behind it where we've looped up. Drag your pair of bands through and do another chain with another 2 like that. Don't reclaim it. Grab the crossover band and put it on your hook and then reclaim it. Another 2, pop on the end of your hook and drag through all 5, reclaim, and that's going to sit right here. Push everything down because now we need to place some skin tone bands, so make sure you have some room. So moving to skin tone, you're going to use 2 at a time still and place them. You're skipping from peg 1 to 2 on all columns, and you're going from peg 2 to 3 with 2 skin tone bands. This center column, you're going to throw your bands at it and just look at it. 2 from peg 3 to 4, and then from the center to the right. Again, push everything down. I can see this one is a bit twisted. It's really bad to have twisted bands on the face. It looks a bit nasty, so try and straighten those. Another 2 from the other side, like that. We need 2 for the neck, so pop those on here as well. Then we're going to take a single and stretch it across these bottom 3 in the shape of a triangle. And in these 3 we're going to take a single, we're going to twist it. I'm going to get a thicker one. Twist it once, twice, 3 times and pop here, so that stops the eyes from falling to the back of the head. Now the eyes, as I said, I'm using beads. You don't have to use beads, you can use bands. Wrapping one single band on your hook 4 times equates to 1 bead. So you can do that, do 2 of them and slide those onto a skin tone band, and it's the same, it's the equivalent of doing beads. Slide them on, whether you use a hook, whether you use a threader, metal threader, some floss, whatever you use. Slide them onto your skin tone band and place across these 2 pegs here. You're going to make sure that they're set either side of the middle here, and then take your hook and this top part of the band you're going to pop above this peg here, so it acts as a crossover band, which is quite handy. So a very important part next is to actually attach the back of the hair to the skin on the front of the face. Grab the end cap that is in yellow here and lift it above and place that on top, and that's going to anchor in the back of the hair to our face. That's a very important part. So with another skin tone, pair of skin tone, we're going to work our way down here. Okay, and then now I've actually used, if you can see here, I've used skin tone from here to here, and I think that looks fine. So even though we've got the border of white here and here, I still think that doing skin tone is a good idea. So I'm going to do skin tone from here to here, Oops, get both my bands on, there we are. And now I'll move to some white. Now, if you have a look here, I've got the arms in white, but then I've only got this outline here in white. The actual bodice of the dress is in dark pink. So I'm going to move to my dark pink, and I'm going to lay that first, and then I'm going to put my white on top of it. And I do have to say, definitely the ability for the doll to stand up does depend on the type of bands that you're using. So at this point here, I'm using dark pink, and dark pink. So I've done the 3 in dark pink. I'm going to take a pair of white. I'm sorry, I'm taking 2 white. One goes this side, one goes this side. Okay, push things down. You're going to need a white end cap here. Wrap it once and twice and pop that here. Okay. Now for the rest of the skirt, we're actually going to use light pink on our loom. So taking your light pink bands, and please, you can do whatever colour you want. I mean, if you don't have the same colours as me, do what you need to do. You can make it any colour. And we'll do light pink down the centre. Two from the centre to the right, 2 from the centre to the left, and you're going to use an end cap here. Wrap a single band once and twice and place here. Now, crossover bands. Across these pink ones, we're taking a single band and just stretching it across the 3 pegs like this. This will be her skirt, the fullness of her skirt, okay? These next 2 are her waist, and we're doing them in the dark pink. You use the colour that is predominant on the outside because that's where you would see it. Take a dark pink, stretch it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and that will go here. Same for the one above it. You're going to stretch it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and that will draw her waist in. And then for the top one here, again a dark pink, but you're not looping it on itself, you're just going to stretch it across like that. For the arms, we're going to take a couple of skin tone for her hands, so a single, wrap it once and twice, slide onto a pair. You're going to slide onto 3 pair of skin tone in total for each arm. So that's our first pair, our second pair, and our third pair. And then we're going to use some white. I'm going to take a pair of white and pull through, and I'm not going to reclaim just yet. Take this off your hook, take a pair of bands and wrap once and twice, and then you're going to put this back on your hook. Hold the other end, you're going to slide this pair that you just wrapped around your hook onto one side like that, okay? Then you're going to move down and make sure that's a little bit tighter so it doesn't fall off. Take another pair, wrap once and twice, pop this back on, and you're going to move these up and over, up and over like that, okay? Then take another pair of white and we join them together, and this sort of makes a little cuff. I'm going to pop that here on this shoulder, just like that. Okay, do the same on the other side. A single, wrap once and twice at skin tone, and you're going to slide onto 3 pair of skin tone. Two, 3. Let's slide onto a pair of white and just gently take that off our loom for a second. Another pair of white, wrap once and twice, slide onto the first pair you have on your little arm, like so. Pretty it up a bit, budge it all up and move down your hook. Take another pair of white, wrap around your hook once and twice, pop the other end on, so you're reclaiming like so, and then slide these up and over, so you're just left with your 2 little pegs, your 2 little bands on your hook. Take another pair of white, slide on like so, and we will add this to the other shoulder. So now let's dig down past this little end cap we have here and grab our 2 top pink bands and loop down, and do the same for the other side. Loop down, loop up once in the middle, once on the right, and once on the left. Push these down. Now I'm moving to a dark pink, and we're going to do our little, it's like an extension here for the dress. Okay, so we're doing this little extension on the dress to make it look like she's wearing a puffier dress. We're basically extending the loom from 3 columns to 5. So take 2 pink bands, dark, and you're coming down this little spot here. So push your hook through where we've already looped up, drag the 2 back and place on your hook. You're going to chain in another 2, like that. Don't replace on your hook. What you're going to do is grab your crossover band and put it on your hook, and then pop that back on. You've reclaimed it. Take your next pair of dark pink bands and you're going to draw that through those 5 loops, like that. Again, don't replace. You're going to grab the crossover band and put it on your hook and then replace. I very carefully just tried to lose both of those bands, so let's put them back on. There we go. Alright, grab another 2 and drag through. Grab the next crossover band and replace. Grab your next 2. Flick on the other side. Drag through. Grab the next crossover band and replace. The next 2. And you're going basically up to here, which is where you're going to be attaching them. Now, to make it slightly less straight, I'm going to add, I didn't add this next crossover band in, I just reclaimed straight away here, and I'm going to add another pair without that crossover band in, and that's going to give it a bit of puffiness on the side. So add another 2, see, like that, and that's going to sit here. Let's do it the other side. Take 2 and you're coming down through this hole here. Drag them through and reclaim. Take another 2. So these first 4, you haven't put a crossover band on those first 2. You wait for your second pair, and then you're going to grab that crossover band, put it on your hook and reclaim. Take your next 2, pop on your hook and draw through and grab the crossover band and reclaim. The next 2, draw through, reclaim, draw through. I'm going to not reclaim it just yet because I still want to add this one in. Add it in, and draw through. This is where I'm going to not reclaim. I'm reclaiming, but I'm not taking this crossover band. I'm going to take another 2 and add to this chain here without a crossover band on it. I've got a tangled band there, and that's going to give it that extra puffiness. Alright, and then I'm going to slip that on here. I'm going to make sure all my crossover bands are sitting right, and they are. So now I'm going to dig down and loop them all up. When I get to here, I need to lift these top 2 off first, hold them out to the side, loop up, and then replace those 2. And the reason I do that is I want the dark pink to be on the outside. So again, loop up, push all those other bands back with the back of your hook. If I had just looped this up, you see the light pink would be on the outside. I don't think that would look as pretty. It will still work, but I think it looks better if you looped the light pink and then the dark. Loop up, loop up, loop up. Push everything back. It's tight where you have these bands that are looped on themselves. Okay, loop up. Now I'm going to loop this one up to here. I'm going to dig down and grab the pink and loop up. Grab the pink and loop up because I want these whites, these 2 white ones, to be on top. So now I'm going to dig down and find the white and loop across. Find the next white and loop across. So they'll be on top of the pink bands. I'm going to dig down and find the 2 skin tone, and then the skin tone on this side, and then I'll loop the center skin tone like that. We'll loop in the neck, then the first 2 skin tone go over this side, the next 2, now I've only got 1 there, so I'm going to go back, find my second one. There it is. I can see things are a bit tight here, so I'm just wriggling my hook around the outside of the peg, and it sort of loosens things up a bit. Find my middle 2 bands and loop those up, and I can just see I lost one. I think it was from here because it's a bit tight and squeezy. Let's find these 2 skin tone and lock that into place like so. Now if we lift these 2, I'm lifting these because I want the yellow to be on the top. I don't want the skin tone to be on top. It's going to look a bit odd if the skin tone is on top of the hair. So dig down, find the 2 bands that are for the hair and loop up, and then we put the hair back. Okay, let's do the same this side. Loop the 2 skin tone, lift up the hair and hold out to one side. Dig down and find those 2 bottom hair bands and loop up and put these back. You have to loop up the center. There's 1 and 2, and then we loop these last 2 sides. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to tie off using the yellow frost, a couple of yellow frost, and I'm going to do her crown after the fact because the crown just sits here at the top. So I'm going to push my hook through the center of this peg and out the side, drag 2 yellow frost back to the back side of the peg. I'm going to reclaim, take one over the other and pull tight. Now we're going to take her off the loom. Gently does it. You've got quite a lot of bands on single pegs here and you don't want breakage. That would be bad. Gently ease her off and pull her into shape. With the arms I tend to pull up and down, it just sort of gets these bands in the right order. You can see how she sort of goes in at the waist and then out at the hips again. Okay, so with these tie-off bands you're just going to push your hook between the hair and the face. You have this gap, you can push your hook up and grab those bands and just gently ease them back through and hide them behind the back of the head here, like that. Now you don't want the hair to sort of be like that, or you might, it's up to you really. I don't want my hair to be like that, so I'm going to take a couple of the yellow bands and I'm going to go through the end cap and draw one through, a single band through, and tie a slip knot like that. I'm then going to go through another two, so the center one, one of the center and the one next to it, and draw that band back through them like that and just leave it hanging out here. I'm going to do the same this side. Take a single band and draw it through. I'm going to do a little slip knot like that, and again I will take the next three. Now make sure that they are not twisted. 1 and 2, draw that band through, so you have the two little loops here. Okay, so with these two little loops I'm going to put my hook through one in the back here and pull back. I'm going to do the same this side at exactly the same spot, pull it back. I'm going to take another single yellow band, tie a slip knot. Oops, let's try that again. Over enthusiastic. Tie a slip knot like that. Oh, and have it break on me, but I'm basically I'm just going to hide those bands. I'm going to redo that. We don't want a broken band holding everything together. So back through my loops. Take a single band, draw it through, slip knot, nice and tight, and then I'm just going to sort of weave it through these bands at the back here, at the back of the hair, just like this. Literally just like that. Now if you want to tie it off again with another band at the nape of her neck and then hide it behind, that's absolutely fine as well. So go to the nape of the neck, grab a couple of bands, do a slip knot, and then all you have to do is draw that through to the back of the neck here and hide it in the hairline like so. When you pull that out the other way like this, her hair will sort of be, and it takes a while for it to settle down. You want to sort of flatten it down a bit, but that basically is how her hair will look. Then for the crown, take a single band, gold, wrap it once and twice, and slide onto a pair of gold like that. You're going to take one side and do a slip knot with another single gold band like that, and then do the same on the other side. So swap sides and do a slip knot here like that. Now all we're going to do is find a little spot here in her hair. Now if you have a look, you've got the centre bit here, but then you've got this one knot here and this one V here. Same here. I went through the second V, so this little V here is where I went through, and I drew back my band until I got to the knot, and then I did the same on this side, again drawing back until I got to the knot, so that that little knot where we did the slip knot was hidden, and then I just tie a knot in the back here. So there's one, and there we go, two, and again hide the bands at the back of her hair. So grab the two ends if you can and pull back, so it just sort of looks like that, and the ends of the band are just behind in the hairline, and then that just sits there sort of like a little tiara. Alright, so for the bottom, now this is the fun part really, I guess, isn't it? You've got these loops here at the bottom. You've got this is one pair of bands, this is another pair of bands, another pair of bands, and one more pair of bands. Now these bands are, as you can see, split into 2 loops this side and 2 loops this side. I'm going to zoom forward a bit so you can see me nice and clear. What we're going to do is, in this case, have her back facing towards us. We're going to grab those first 2 loops, and you can use whatever colour you want. I'm going to use the darker pink for mine, and I alternated between dark pink and light pink last time, but I'm going to just do dark pink this time. Take 2 bands, and you're going to pull those 2 bands through, reclaim, and do a slip knot. And I did that very badly. Reclaim and do a slip knot like that, and then you're going to go back through that little stitch there, those 2 little loops, that's our first stitch, and you're going to do another slip knot right next to it in that same spot. So now you have these 2 little slip knots in that one spot. You're going to take the 2 closest to you, up and over, so they're joined. Now we're going in these 2 little loops. See, there's 2 little loops there that are light pink. So again, 2 bands, pull through like that, one over the other. You've got 2 slip knots, join them together. Do the same in that same spot. We're putting 2 of these little slip knots in each of these stitches. Up and over and join. So that was 2 in there. Let's go to this 3rd one here. Okay. Here's our first little slip knot, up and over, there it is. Join it together. Let's do a second one in that same spot. Up and over to join them. Here's our 4th one. Make sure you go through both the loops. And do a second one. And then if you have a look, this is what we've just made. Okay, now we're going to do the same in these 4 loops. Here's our first one, right here, those 2 little loops. 2 bands, pull through, do your first slip knot, and join together. And back again. Now let's do more. Back through for another 2. That's the first one. Back through that pink one again. Let's do a second one. Here we go through our last one here. Oops, what have I done here? There we go. So that was one. Let's do another one in that one. Now you'll find that we're back to the beginning. This is where we started, okay? But we want this to be a little wider. So now, if you have a look, this is where we started here. We're going to push our hook through those first 2 loops again. Ignore the 2 that are at the back here. These 2 that are at the back, you don't need those. This time, instead of doing 2 little slip knots in each, we're doing 1. So take your loom bands and drag them through, reclaim, one over the other, and join. And now, instead of going back through that same stitch to do another, you're going to find the next one, which is here. And you're going to do 2 through that one, well, 2 bands, join together, and then go to the 3rd stitch, which is here. And again, 2 loom bands, double bending, drag it through, up and over, and join. Here's our 4th one. So we're just doing a single in each of these. Now if it's a bit difficult to see, twist it down a bit so that you can see where your next stitch is. For me it's here. And now I'm here. We're nearly at the end. And these little slip knots, for those of you that don't know, you're actually crocheting with loom bands, so congratulations. Through these 2. Join them together. And now I'm going through these 2 here with another 2, and now what we're going to do is link this into here with a single. So just take a single band, go through that loop and through the 2 loops that were on your hook, reclaim and tie off in a slip knot, and you're going to hide the tie-off band under here in all this mess that's underneath. We can just hide that through here. If I can. There we go. There we go, like that. And now you can see she's got this little sort of overflow to her gown that allows her to stand up. Now, I say that, and I know that the DIY bands I used in the middle are sort of rather floppy bands, but she is standing up, you can see, and she is quite hair heavy, but she still stands up, so that's really good to know. So there we have Princess Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. Let me zoom back out so you can see her properly. There we are, in all her glory. I really hope you enjoy making her. Take care. Bye bye.